1,700. 8 groups in the country are warning that the window to find earthquake survivors is fast closing. The Philippine government has sent a contingent to aid in search and rescue operations. Joining us today, Storycon's resident political pundit, Tito Earl Llamas. Umabot siya just in time.
Kahit gapang yung traffic sa EDSA.
Wednesday, no?
Balik traffic
Balik
after
traffic.
yesterday's holiday.
Wala pa yun yung hindi pa nag-start EDSA rehab when you think about it.
When is that supposed to be? Wala pang schedule, no?
Last we heard, they said around Holy Week. That's in 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Pero they haven't committed to a actual timeline.
Ibang penitensya yan, ha?
Yan lang ako nagmamotor pag Holy Week sa EDSA. Halos walang
Alam mo,
sasakyan.
hindi kita ma-imagine nagbumotor. Ano ka, naka-leather jacket ka, gano'n?
Hindi naman. Ang init dito Pero Harley yung gamit ko
Knox, of course.
Yun lang kaya
And from the Philippine Star, let's bring in Editor-in-Chief, Ami Pamintuan. Hi, Ami.
Hi, Ami.
Hi, happy Wednesday.
Ano ba yung kulay na yan?
Sabi nga eh.
Hindi ko maarok Anong kulay Medyo...
Beige.
Beige. Parang
Beige.
may shades of light
Parang camouflage na, desert camouflage.
Meron siyang design.
May pattern.
Okay, Passionista yan si
Yung
Ami.
kabarkada mo, Ronald, sa Harley, si Duterte, mahilig yan.
Oo.
Pero mo recently, si Tatay Dudes, pag nagmumotor, 3-wheeler na yung motor niya eh.
Oo nga, 3-wheeler na siya.
Hindi na.
Past few years.
Dahil sumemplang, di ba?
Dati kasi,
Simula
he
nung
would go around
sumemplang.
Davao in his motorcycle.
But I saw old pictures of him in the 3-wheeler kahit dati pa.
Yung 3-wheeler, hindi big bike yun.
Well, malaki pa rin siya.
Para siyang kotse.
Hindi yung katulad ng Harley ni...
The nature ng big bike ay 2 gulong lang. Dahil dapat laging nasa bingit ka ng pagbagsak Biking is but the expectation of a fall.
Okay,
Ayan,
biking is the expectation of a
Kaso
fall.
nag-fall nga siya. Nalaglag, di ba? Nagka-diferensya, kaya pinainom siya ng fentanyl nung doktor niya. Doon nag-umpisa yan.
Parang buhay,
Doon ba yun?
life is but the expectation of a fall.
Of a
Parang
fall.
driving.
Parang ano yan? Can you relate that to politics as well?
Oo. Dahil parang gulong ng buhay yan. Minsan nasa taas, minsan nasa baba.
Umiikot-ikot lamang.
Tapos, so pag ikaw pwede, you can connect everything. Pag ako, i-connect ko yung anarchist sa politics, hindi pwede. Okay, but we're not...
Kasi si Ronald, konektado yan sa anarchy tsaka sa fall of governments eh.
Okay, wait. Okay, we're not talking about politics today. For a change, we're talking about, nakos.
Lapit na Holy Week, magbago na kayo.
Kaya-
Ika na kayo. Puro kayo politika
Oo naman.
Puro kayo politika
Tama na yung penitensya natin.
Puro tayo, uplifting topics. Today's topic is...
Third World War na
Yun na nga, potentially.
Third World War na. Ang dami niyo pong mga
We're talking about
politika.
a potential invasion of Taiwan because of the long-range live-fire drills that China is conducting currently in the East China Sea. Medyo, of course, matagal na nag-live-fire drills on China around Taiwan, but this seems to be an escalation.
Pero hindi ko naintindihan yung trigger. Parang yung trigger ay baka daw mag-declare ng independence ang Taiwan. Wala namang ganun
Hindi, coming off the back of Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth.
Hegseth.
Diba?
Tuwing
Just a few days
bibisita
ago.
lang naman na high-ranking official
Yes.
dito sa region natin
Oo, pero yung statement kasi ng Foreign
Banatan pa sila
Ministry,
ni Hegseth.
pero yung statement ng Foreign Ministry, parang ginagawa ito dahil may threat ng Declaration of Independence. Wala namang ganun
Well,
Gano'n naman
it's
yung
their
matagal na
perpetual
yun.
warning naman eh.
Correct.
Something that they always
Exactly.
say.
Matagal na
Exactly.
In the same way that almost every day you have incursions by Chinese vessels and the airplanes into that airspace and sea space.
Pero ito kasi yung
between the
first
two
time
countries.
na nagsalita yung ating Chief of Staff, yung ating Armed Forces,
That we have to prepare.
prepare for an invasion. Parang,
but just to add context to that, prepare for an invasion, meaning that we would deploy there to pick up our workers.
The problem is...
Not to go.
hindi, pero ang problema natin, nandito yung EDCA Problema natin, nandito yung SUBIC Diba? So, hindi siya ganun
It's not a clean cut.
simpleng statement.
And also the problem with preparing for a potential invasion of Taiwan, pag nag-blockade yung China, how are you going to extract all 250,000 workers, right? Because that's the scenario that the island is preparing for, a blockade, not an invasion. The difference is, pag blockade, you're gonna restrict all of its borders, whether by land, by sea, by air, and China does have the capability to do that, paano i-extract
Tsaka
yung workers,
tsaka
right?
yung bulk ng workers natin, nandun sa southern part ng Taiwan, yung industrial belt area.
Working
no?
in the factories.
Yes, kung titirahin ng China ang Taiwan, yun ang uunahin nila. No, to cut supplies. Paano yun yung pan eh?
Mahirap-hirap mag-blockade dyan sa Taiwan Strait. Ang kipot-kipot niyan eh. Pwede mo languyin yan eh.
Tama.
From the northern Philippines to Taiwan, pwede ka lumangoy.
Yes, kasi yung ating strait,
Hirap niyan.
yung
Ano
bus,
natin yun? Ano natin yun? Territorial waters
yes,
natin
pero
yan.
yung strategic
Ano
dyan,
sila
yung,
magbablockade doon?
ang strategic dyan yung Basi Strait eh. Dahil yun yung entry point from the Pacific. Kung saan yung bulto ng forces ng US, Australia, New Zealand, dun manggagaling. Kaya that will be a major battleground. Yung strait between the
mahirap mag-blockade
Philippines
ng ano yan.
and southern Taiwan.
And we have to update the numbers pala. The Taiwan Defense Ministry said, kanina sabi mo 10 warships, no, Ed? 15 warships na pala that they've monitored in this round of drills, 76 aircraft. So escalation na talaga to. And yeah.
Yeah, let's bring in our first guest for today, retired Rear Admiral Ong. Sir, magandang hapon and thank you for joining us. Again.
Hi,
Sir,
Admiral.
nakamit ata, sir.
Wala pa yata.
Hapon na
Ayan na.
There, sir. There we go.
mahina ang aming
Magandang hapon, Admiral. Long time no see.
Kasama po natin
It's
si
Stoner.
Tito Ronald Llamas. Sir, what do you make of this more recent live fire, long-range live fire exercises ng China? Is it any more provocative than the previous ones, or is it the same thing altogether?
ano siya parang signal, yung mga activities niya kasi parang signaling tool yan eh. When you say signaling tool, yung the way they convey message is through those exercises o yung pag-shoot ng mga missiles doon. So, may mga diyan mga events yan that precipitated yung messaging na yun. Number one, I think would be yung pagdalaw nung Secretary of Defense ng US sa region. Then of course, may mga internal dynamics sila between Taiwan and Beijing. I think merong pinadeport ng mga influencers sa Taiwan recently. So that is a consideration. Then of course, yung recent pronouncement ng Secretary of Defense nung dumalaw dito sa Manila might also have an impact at yung pronouncement niya doon sa Japan nung pagdalaw niya ron.
So paramdam, sir. You think it's more paramdam than anything?
Oh, yes. Ano yun eh. They are responding, kumbaga, nagpaparandam sila sa atin na yun yung feelings nila doon sa mga events na nag-precipitate ng activities nyo.
Pero Admiral, yung isang bago kasi ay medyo dramatic at compelling yung statement ni Armed Forces Chief of Staff Browner, no, na parang maghanda tayo, no, dahil parang mas matindi yung threat ngayon kesa in the past. Saan ang gagaling yung ganong klaseng statement ni General Browner, Admiral?
Well, dalawa anggulo yun, no? Yung una anggulo doon is medyo, kung ako sa lugar niya, hindi ko yun sasabihin sa harap ng media.
Okay.
That's a mouthful.
Teka, sir, bakit, sir? Why do you say that?
Pangalawa, ordinary lang naman sa military organization mag-conduct ng contingency planning. So, for all, meron kang sinusulat yung plano na yan even before nangyari yung event o possibilities na minsan medyo unlikely na, ginagawan pa rin. Kasi pag may incidenting similar doon, binubunot na lang yung folder niyan yung contingency plan na malapit-lapit doon sa nangyaring situation. Now, pangatlo, in this case, ang tinutumbok niya is what we call a non-combatant evacuation operation. On the possibility na merong nga mangyari sa Taiwan, so magiging primary interest natin ng Pilipinas is paano natin ma-evacuate yung ating mga migrant workers from Taiwan to Philippines. So, yung sinabi niyang tulukbian mabuli, actually, kung ako yung nasa lugar nila, ang titingnan ko na egress point doon would, o yung exit point would be the port of Kaohsiung. Then yung ingress would be maybe Port of Irene or
Yeah, si Ilocos.
yung Port of Papari. Port of Papari. So kailangan mo mag-establish na mobility corridor o evacuation corridor between those two ports. Ang complication lang dyan, if we do a full-blown scenario sa Taiwan, yung Port of Kaohsiung would be from, if I were Beijing, Port of Kaohsiung will be one of my principal objects.
Yeah.
So yun yung, kumbaga, complication doon.
Pero Admiral, sa tingin nyo, nag-escalate ba yung tension doon sa area? Kasi napapansin naman natin tuwing may bumibisita nga na high-ranking official, lalo ngayon bagong administrasyon sa US, at alam naman natin na China hawk tong si Hegseth. Sa tingin nyo, hindi ba meron pang you're assessing all the situation o dahil lang doon sa pagbisita?
Well, yung sa pagbisita, pero ito po yung ito yung danger kasi nakita natin Yung road to war o road to conflict kasi meron niyang pattern bago magkaroon ng conflict. So ang complication dito sa ginagawa ng Beijing ngayon is nino-normalize nila na merong mga barko at may mga eroplanong lumilipad around Taiwan. So kung ikaw yung mag-a-assess na situation, mahirapan kayo distinguish kung ito ba ay exercise or ito ba ay prelude to an invasion. Kasi nga, ninormalize nila yung situation na merong nagba-blockade o nagpapaikot dun sa sa Taiwan. So yun yung problema doon.
Yeah.
So titingin na lang tayo ng ibang indicators na posible para magsabi na imminent yung threat ng invasion. Pero as of now, I think hindi pa naman
Pero di ba, Admiral, it has less to do with the visit of Secretary Hegseth na sinasabi nila ayun yung main reason. Dahil kumpara sa Biden administration, mas hawkish yung Biden administration kesa sa Trump administration. Dahil si Biden lang naman yung for the first time umalis dun sa strategic ambiguity ng US foreign policy vis-a-vis Taiwan. For the first time, a US president said na ipaglalaban nila ang Taiwan militarily. First time nangyari yan. Na hindi naman, mukhang hindi gagawin, o at least hindi sinasabi, ni President Trump. Hindi ba mas aggression na yan, yung scaling up ng military exercises ng China? Mas yan ay tinitignan nila kung si Trump at yung kanyang pinaka-powerful na cabinet secretary, si Elon Musk, who is clearly pro-China, ay gagalaw talaga kung merong ganyang klaseng moves. Dahil from the vantage point of China, this could be the best time para at least i-threaten ang Taiwan dahil ang tingin nila kay Trump ay hindi hawk kumpara kay Biden. At ikalawa, ang tingin nila, ang China, malapit na yung limit na ibinigay sa kanya ng People's Liberation Army to take over Taiwan before 2027. Hindi ba mas ganon rather than provocation ng visit ni Hegseth?
Sige, Tekral, medyo maraming moving part ng question mo. So, iunahin ko muna yung Biden versus Trump na narrative. Okay, si Biden, sabihin na natin medyo hawkish. Pero ang problema, wala siyang wherewithal para i-execute yung kanyang optic. Bakit ko sinabi yun? The principal problem ng US ngayon is yung US Navy niya nag-decline over the years. Okay? Kaya nga kung nakita nyo, nung nagkaroon ng problema sa Middle East, nilipat niya lahat yung carrier battle group niya roon sa Middle East, from Indo-Pacific. So, ang point ko rito, kinakapos yung US Navy in terms of assets. So, even if si Biden sabihin niya yung medyo hawkish siya nung time niya, alam mo ng Beijing na bitin yung instrument of policy niya para execute yung hawkish policy niya. Now, dito kay Trump naman, nakikita natin, although medyo matagal pa, na-recognize ni Trump yung problema niya, which is kulang yung barko niya. So, kung makikita nyo, yung policy pronouncement ni Trump, ang utos niya sa Secretary of the Navy niya, improve your shipbuilding. Now, over and above that, nag-create siya ng shipbuilding office sa White House mismo. So, na-recognize niya yung problema na yun. So, ang point ko, ina-address ni Trump yung capability gaps nila ngayon. Another point is, si Trump kasi ang tendency niya, ang approach niya to statecraft more of naka-lean towards economic eh. And kung makikita mo, yung approach niya is through tariffs eh. Yung tariff one. Tapos, kung titingnan nyo, meron din nilabas yung US, I forgot which agency, kung yung mga members ng Chinese Communist Party na merong pera na nakalabas ng China nandun sa mga bangko sa West. So, sabihin, nakikinita nila na mas kabisado ni Trump yung pressure points nila at ginagamit ni Trump yung pressure points na yon to actually exert pressure sa kanya, sa partido.
Admiral, let me come back to something you said earlier, no? In as far as yung scenarios in case a blockade of Taiwan does occur, of course, the priority for the Philippines is to extract the 250,000 workers, Filipino workers there. Ngayon, you said yung egress most likely sa Kaohsiung, yung ingress sa Apari. But what if nabasa na nga ng China to and they've prepared for it? Do you think we're prepared for a plan B? And you're correct in pointing out, by the way, that the AFP has been preparing for this since last year pa. And I know this because they had a briefing with international media na nakasama ako. And at that time, si General Bronner already said that, you know, we have made plans. Like you said, nasa folder na nga, kukunin na lang when D-Day happens. But do we have enough plans for alternative scenarios, do you think?
Yung approach kasi natin dito, is not to actually engage in a conflict, but how do you disrupt yung strategy ng China or ng Beijing? So, kasi dito, ang most likely scenario dito is iba-blockade niya yung Taiwan sa south eh, and as well in other parts of Taiwan, no? So iba-blockade niya yung tinatawag, yung gusto sana nating evacuation corridor, o mobility corridor, iba-blockade niya yun. Doon sa Basi Channel pa lang. So hindi natin magagamit yun. In any conflict sa part ng Taiwan na affected yung Philippines, ang first objective dyan is i-control ng Basi Channel eh. So bubuhusan niya ng barko yan para makontrol yan. Kaya kung makikita nyo, bakit yun yung rationale ng Typhoon missile system saka yung bagong system na ini-introduce ng US for the exercise, yung Nemesis system yata yun. Kasi puro yun eh, puro anti-ship missile system yun eh. Okay? So the only way para to avoid conflict or to deter China is to provide a capability para ma-disrupt yung strategy niya. In which case, kung ang konsepto niya ng invasion ng Taiwan would be blockade yung southern part of Taiwan. Ang solution doon is yung asymmetric capability that will prevent them from massing up barko doon sa southern Taiwan. So yun yung Typhoon, yun din yung Nemesis, at yun din actually kung dahilan natin kung bakit bumili tayo ng BrahMos sa India. Precisely for that scenario.
Ang problema...
Prepared ba tayo, Admiral? Kasi sabi ng Malacanang kanina, nag-react doon sa mga sinabi ni Bronner. Sabi ng Malacanang, prepared naman ang Pilipinas, prepared na ang military. They were downplaying the statement of General Bronner.
Well, gaya siya pa niya, I would not have made that statement in public. Yeah. I see why we're here this afternoon, pinag-uusapan niya because of that statement.
Yeah.
So,
Pero, Admiral, we have 1 or 2 Typhoon missile systems. Andaling wasakin yan eh, with the number of ballistic missiles ng China. Lalo na, wala namang missile cover yung ating Typhoon missile system. Unlike halimbawa sa Israel. they have missiles and they have missiles covering the missiles.
They have anti-missile missiles.
Oo, tayo wala tayong
Yeah, they're Iron Dome.
wala tayong Iron Dome.
May shield sila.
So isang one or two ballistic missiles kayang iwasaki na yung Typhoon missile system na yan. Hindi pa siya ganun ka-integrated like in other more advanced places. Kaya may silbi ba yung Typhoon missile na yan for now in a real shooting war? Or is it for now parang lang, a minor investment pa lang?
Minor investment, tapos messaging din, optics din yan. Tama ka ron, Secretary. Actually, tama ka doon, kulang yung kasi system dapat yung approach dyan eh. So, if you recall, when we acquired the BrahMos anti-ship missile system sa India, merong component yun na air defense system na hindi pa nabili kasi kinulang yung pondo eh. Pero supposed to be, yung BrahMos na yun is supposed to be protected by an air defense system para hindi siya para protection niya. At the same time, since land-based siya, part ng protection niya is that battery is supposed to be moving around every 24 hours. Hindi yan naglalagay sa isang lugar eh. So mayroong mga defensive mechanism siya.
So doesn't that investment become so vulnerable now? I mean, we bought a nice shiny missile from India, and turns out that we don't have an umbrella in case it rains. Well, so to speak.
Well, may typhoon din.
Yun yung problema kasi, kasi when we proposed the acquisition, it was a system.
Yeah.
But when it was
Nakulangan.
yung umaana taga and everything, hindi system yung pagkakabili, piecemeal.
Yeah. Because of funding.
As usual.
Tingi-tingi. Parang bigla na Yossi.
Parang gawa ng mga bridge natin,
Teka lang, Admiral, the other news story that came out today that we're carrying is yun nga, the US has approved the potential sale of $5.6 billion of
20 F-16.
20 F-16 fighter jets. Actually, itong question is both for Admiral and for you. 20 F-16 fighter jets to the Philippines to secure as a deterrent against China nga. Makakatulong ba ito?
Diba, Admiral, ang F-16 are Cold War fighter jets that was created more than 40 years ago eh. So ngayon, marami ng mga advanced fighter jets. How can they defend us from
it serve as a deterrent?
Yeah, from a
to
superpower
China?
like China, na ang kanilang mga fighter jets are top
Ano na
of
ba?
the line.
F-20?
Top of the line, no?
Ano na yung top of pinaka-highest
Landing
end?
na sila sa dark side of the moon eh. Kaya,
F-22.
May J-20.
Yeah. Hanggang ano na tayo. Anyways, Admiral Ong, please go ahead.
Kung air-to-air, ang advantage lang natin o ang tulog lang natin doon kasi hindi pa nila na-perfect yung carrier operations nila eh. So even if meron silang aircraft in play, hindi pa nila na-perfect yung system na carrier-based operation. So matagal pa yon.
Yes, sir.
Ang another possibility is i-base nila yon doon sa any of the three facilities nila, 2B, Fiery Cross, or
Yung artificial islands.
So yun, pwede rin. Kasi yung, if I recall correctly, yung J-11 aircraft nila, kaya na yun eh. Yung range ng Pilipinas, papasok na yun. But of course, hindi natin alam yung state nung runway. Kasi may mga speculation tayo na yun eh. Since exposed to the elements yun, hindi siya actually flyable or useful for flight operations yung ngayon. But that's speculation on my part, no? Pangatlo, hindi pa nila na-perfect yung air refueling capability. So, kung galing man yan sa Hainan o mainland, limited yung range yun. Hindi yun naabot sa atin sa Pilipinas. Or kung umabot man, there is not enough loiter time dun sa airspace natin para siya may effect siya. So kung yung F-16 granted na medyo Cold War vintage, pwede na muna for the meantime as transition. ang problema lang dito yung yung saan ba gagamitin yung aircraft. My conversation with sa mga active sa Air Force, ang tinatangkos kanila can you downplay yung air superiority requirement nyo but focus on anti-ship missile, anti-shipping operation. Kasi ang existential threat sa atin actually is yung PLA Navy kasi yun ang pwedeng dumikit sa coastline natin So, enough system in play na kumbaga magdadalawang isip silang dumikit sa coastline natin. Okay na yon for the meantime. Kasi hindi naman natin hindi unless makadikit sila sa atin, I don't see any critical effect sa sa archipelago sa buong Pilipinas
Yes, sir. Pero sir, yun nga the BRAMS was supposed to be area defense, what do you call that? Area,
medium air.
area
Medium
denial.
range.
Area denial to keep to keep the ships away, among other things. And as well, parang island denial. So maybe to target, for example, if possible, yung artificial island airstrips. Pero we don't have that much of, we don't have that many BrahMos missiles. I think we have only one battery.
Walang air cover.
Oo, tapos ito namang if we get the F-16, sir, do we have the resources to keep them flying? Kasi malakas sila sa spare parts. Di ba? I mean, we're having problems already with the FA-50 funding the maintenance.
Especially with that
spare parts.
incident, yung crash.
I can imagine
few weeks ago.
mas maggastos tong F-16.
Mas high-tech yan.
That is correct. Actually, I think kaya medyo nag-vacillate yung Air Force at yung Department of Defense on the F-16. If you recall, yung conversation about the F-16, mga last year pa yan Tapos
Yes, sir.
parang hindi na nag-gain traction. And I believe, yun nga yung sinabi mo yung cost nun parang bumili ng printer.
Parang pabili ng cartridge.
Walang toner.
Ink lang.
Kulang ng cartridge.
Admiral, going back to sa pinag-uusapan natin ng simula, ay medyo naiiba itong statement ng China. Maliban sa binanggit nila uli yung possible declaration of independence ng Taiwan. No? Ang nagsalita ngayon ay yung spokesperson ng People's Liberation Army. Hindi ito yung Foreign Ministry ng China. Ito yung People's Liberation Army na spokesperson, si S-H-Y. So, medyo parang naiiba. Ikalawa, ito rin yung panahon na nagsimula nang dumating yung HIMARS missile ng Taiwan, no? So hindi ba 'yun ang major provocation rather than yung visit ni Hegseth? At ikalawa, kabibili lang ng Taiwan ng 60 F-16 fighter jets. No, kakatapos lang nilang bayaran. Ang kaibahan siguro doon sa kanilang 60 ay merong spare parts. Kaya nila
Tsaka 60.
Saka may pambayad, may pambayad sila.
16, F-16, no?
6-0, hindi 16.
So yun yung medyo distinct dito sa bagong tension na ito, Admiral. No, PLA ang may sharpest statement at kasabay nito yung pagdating ng HIMARS missile system sa Taiwan. Hindi ito yung paisa-isa na battery, no? Isang buong missile system ito.
Kompleto.
Dumating. Kompleto.
I would agree with you, Ronald, na maaring yun ang driver nung reaction time. Now, as far as yung PLA spokesman na yung naka-front and center, it can also be an internal audience thing. Baka it's directed to yung partido more than yung international audience. Yung pagharap ng spokesman ng PLA doon.
Yun ba yung when they called Taiwan a parasite? Siya ba yun? Yung spokesperson ng PLA?
I'm not sure. Pero ayun nga, usually foreign ministry
Pero
naglalabas.
nag-intensify na talaga kasi Taiwan ng defenses kasi sinabihan na rin sila ng US
They have to...
Kahit naman noon pa, alam naman nila na sila dapat ang mag-fortify ng sarili nilang defense. They are aware of it. Even the previous administration ng Taiwan, alam nila yon. So actually, they've been upgrading their missile system. Lahat-lahat na. It's an ongoing thing. Kahit
Admiral,
bago pa nagsalita si Trump na dapat yung mga allies namin should contribute more.
And increase
Bago pa
their...
yung nagsalita si Trump.
Oo, increase their defense spending. Diba?
Admiral, maliban doon sa pinag-usapan natin kanina na major battleground yung Basi Strait dahil nandito yung industrial center ng Taiwan, lalo na yung mga kung papasok yung mga supplies, diyan papasok sa southern Taiwan, yung mga ports diyan. Diyan din maraming mga Pilipino. Diyan din yung entry point galing sa Pacific na nandun yung mga major naval fleet ng US. Pero ang tanong ko, Admiral, paano natin gagawin yung evacuation ng mga Pilipino? Dahil ang Taiwan kasi, meron silang sapat na bunkers for their own population, not for the 250,000 Filipinos na nandun. So, anong gagawin doon sa ating mga Pilipino? Dahil they created enough bunkers para yung buong population ng Taiwan ay pwedeng i-secure doon. Pero hindi tayo kasama sa bilang doon sa mga bunkers na yun. So, kinakailangan talaga natin silang i-extract. Ang problema, kahit yung buong Navy natin at saka Coast Guard, gamitin natin sa ganyang klaseng extraction, mahihirapan tayo Lalo na dahil yung battleground will be the Basi Strait. So, anong contingency measures natin para matulungan yung ating libo-libo na mga migrants na nasa Taiwan? Ang alam ko dati, laging nakastay dyan na isang barko just in case of emergency
Pinoy yan? Pinoy?
Pinoy, oo. Yan ang sabi dati ng MECO. Meron silang, Hindi ko alam kung nandun pa yon. Meron din silang system na merong pagkain for 3 days dun sa ating mga OFW. Hindi ko alam kung inflation ngayon. No? Lalo na with the heightening of tensions.
Nakakatakot na. Salbabida.
Alam mo, I actually visited Meco in December. Nakausap ko si former PCO Secretary Cheloy Garafil, who now heads up Meco. And it's, tama ka, she said, we have contingency plans in place. We know what we're gonna do pagka nag-invade pag nag-blockade or nag-invade itong China. But she wouldn't give us details. So it's not clear if nandun pa yung barko.
At saka yung
3-day,
yung budget para pagkain.
Oo nga, yung budget.
Hindi ko ma-imagine pa paano yung 3 days.
Paano mo mapakain ng 250,000 Filipinos in 3 days, ha?
Baka kasi...
Hindi yan magbibigay ng detalye.
Ilang laki
Yun
yun,
naman.
no?
Baka pigilin ng China yan.
Oo, correct.
Nagbigay kayo ng detalye, pipigilin niya ng China.
So technically it's top secret, tama si Ami.
Pero yung pagkain, hindi naman kailangan top secret. Papakainin mo na ng 3 days.
Ay, maraming pagkain dyan sa...
But Admiral...
Maraming pagkain dyan sa Taiwan.
Admiral, tanong ko lang, do you expect na, let's say, you said war is not imminent, pero in case of this Taiwan blockade happening, do you anticipate na activate, kailangan din activate yung EDCA sites natin, especially the 4 additional ones that were committed last year. Dalawa in Cagayan, 1 in Isabela, and 1 in Palawan.
Yes, dapat doon pa yan. Although, hindi natin alam kung bakit na-delay siya. I think yung EDCA site sa North at least i-priority muna. Kasi kung tayo lang gagastos yan, medyo challenge yun So, pwedeng i-prioritize muna yung EDCA site in Cagayan and in the other parts ng Northern Philippines.
Okay.
Maraming salamat.
We're being told that that's all the time we have. Thank you so much for joining Storycon today, retired Rear Admiral Romel Jude Ong.
Salamat,
Thanks,
Admiral.
sir.
Thank you,
Thank you, sir.
Admiral.
We've got developing news in the stories behind headlines. Welcome back to Storycon, the Story Conference. I'm Ed Lingao.
I'm Regina Lane, still with us, Ami Pamintuan of the Philippine Star, and Ronald Llamas, our resident political pundit.
Ano pinag-usapan niyo kanina? Tungkol sa Sub-Sahara ba yan? O Sub-Sahara ba yan?
Don't go there.
Off-cam yun.
Don't go there.
Chismis lang yun between Ronald and me.
Okay, don't go there. No, don't go there.
We can go there if you want.
Manood na lang sila ng safe house mamaya.
yes.
Yun lang.
Correct.
Manood na lang sila.
Is that a better suggestion?
Wait,
Oo.
what are we talking about? Yung
Si
Brahmos?
Kaufman,
Yes, yung
Kaufman is
USO.
double N,
Kawawa.
and the original Kaufman, they both have appeals.
Ah.
The author Kaufman with double N,
Who's American, not
yeah,
British.
is appealing to Filipinos to stop spamming him. He's not Nicholas Kaufman of the ICC, not the ICC accredited lawyer. He's an author. He writes books, not pleadings.
So,
Nakita
cheese.
mo yun, Ami? Yung Nicholas Kaufman
Yes, yung
with double
story.
N. Oo. Kawawa naman. On Facebook, he's been spammed. Ayun na. He's appealing to the people of the Philippines.
People in the
to
Philippines.
please.
para MacArthur ito.
Ang problema, lalo niya sinabi yan, alam mo naman mga Pinoy, sutil. Lalo siyang titirahin.
Hahanapin
Pero,
siya.
Hahanapin siya kayo, di ba?
but you know what they say.
Sana si double N.
No publicity is bad publicity. So, he's an author. So, baka pwedeng, it might help his
His career.
his book sales.
Baka he can write about the ICC na. Write a novel about the ICC.
Yes, yes.
About the
Speaking
criminal.
of Kaufman, yung kaibigan mong abogado, Ronald,
si ex-human rights
gusto
lawyer.
niya makipag-meeting kay gusto niya makipag-meeting kay President Duterte para makasali pa rin siya sa legal team.
Kung hindi siya official counsel, hindi siya makakapasok doon. Kailangan official siya. Hindi naman siya kamag-anak.
Baka
Oo.
sasabihin niya kaya lang sinabi na ni BP Sara, di ba?
Oo.
Ayaw niya, naghahanap sila ng international lawyers.
Oo.
Yan.
Oo nga,
Yan ang
no?
mga iniintay nating
May balita na ba who the rest of the team might be? Kasi
Wala pa rin.
last time she said additional
Wala pa
one or
rin.
two, di ba? Oo.
Yes. Yan isang mga inaabangan natin today. Yung isa pa, yung reaction ng Defense Department natin sa AFP doon sa announcement ng State Department. Kasi may kamahalan yun, Ronald, ha?
Yung
5.58 billion
May kamahalan
dollars. 300 billion pesos yan. Saan natin kukunin
May
yun?
kamahalan na. May
Ang
kamahalan.
budget natin, 6 point something trillion lang eh.
Oo.
Kaya wala pang reaction eh. Ang kanilang military aid na free up is only $500 million.
Yes, yes.
At ang reaction is it's a sale. Hindi yan ibibigay sa atin. It's a sale.
At saka may kwan yan. May horizontal linkages yan. Ibig sabihin, may kwan yan, may spare parts, may supplies,
Maintenance.
maintenance, kailangan mo ng mga technicians,
So many hours you
experts.
have to replace parts.
So, ite-train mo yung ating mga pilots, etc. Hindi yan simpleng sale lang. Maraming kadikit
Kaya nga.
yan na horizontal. Para
Kaya wala
magkano.
pang reaction. Hinintay natin, baka within the day, magkaroon ng reaction nga yung DND, sila Gibotchodoro. At I guess it won't be the AFP na magsasalita doon. Malaking pera yan eh.
Pwede kong bawasan
Baka
yung
malaking
aking
yan.
kwan. Pwede kong bawasan yung bank account ko para at least hati kami.
I was gonna say, subsidize mo ba to?
Kaya proposed sale pa lang.
Pero
Proposed
pero the US State Department already said they approved it. So on the US side, approved
Yes.
na. The question
It's
is,
a proposed sale.
Now we have to look for the money.
It's a proposed
now the
sale.
question is, eto na si Ronald
Hindi, kung ako
offering
yung-
to subsidize it.
O kaya, magnenego ko na pwede bang 60%
Ilang
discount.
gives? Ilang gives?
Pwede bang 60%
Ilang gives,
discount?
buy now, pay later.
Dahil it's a 40-year-old fighter jet.
Yeah.
So, pwede bang kwan tayo? 60%?
Hindi naman siya 40-year-old pa. It's a
It's a system.
40-year-old
Discounted na yan.
design.
Yeah, system, the design.
Di ba?
Eh, ang dami na ngayong
Mukhang
advance
discounted na
Yeah.
yung presyong yan.
Oo.
Wala siyang
Mukhang friendly price na yan
stealth capabilities eh.
So
Baka tayo na lang ang bumibili ng F-16 ngayon eh.
so if it's a 40-year-old system, bakit F-16 yung pinili nila?
Well, they upgrade the F-16 avionics every now and then. Eh. This one is, I think, F-16D Block 70 or Block
May
72.
mga series siya.
So, ayun nga. Kumbaga parang bumili ng Toyota.
Camry
Yung mga
naman,
series
Toyota,
na
pero Camry
ano,
naman.
yung mga model.
May later versions, may earlier versions. This one is the
Later
latest
models.
version.
Of the Toyota.
Ang problema, meron ka ng BYD, Tesla,
Ayun na
etc.
nga.
No?
Ayun na
Kaya,
nga.
totally iba na yung system.
So kaya nga, but
Halimbawa, F-16 kasi hindi yan nag-hover. No? Hindi yan yung fighter jet na mga ngayon na tumitigil sa ere. Nakatigil na gano'n.
F-35B.
Yung Osprey.
Oo.
Okay.
So, So
Parang
medyo
osprey.
sa isang bakbakan.
Parang osprey.
Oo,
Kailangan mo
kakapot.
ng
Hindi, hindi siya yun.
kailangan mo ng osprey
Oo.
that hovers.
Una, or the F-35, some versions of F-35 are VTOL, vertical takeoff and landing. Hindi lahat. I don't know if it's A or B. Ang Osprey kasi is really more of a helicopter that can
More
can
helicopter
transform
siya.
into an airplane. An F-35 na VTOL is parang Harrier.
Tapos, hindi ka lang ititrain para maging piloto. Ititrain ka para maging Top Gun. Ibig sabihin, yung pwede sa bakbakan. No? Dahil
Combat pilot.
marami kasi sa mga pilots natin, hindi pa nakikipagbakbakan ng fighter jet to fighter jet. Ang ating mga pilots, yung titirahin yung mga Abu Sayyaf, titirahin yung mga NPA, di ba? Pero yung Top Gun kasi, yun talagang fighter jet to fighter jet. Oo.
So,
Ibang training yun.
Oo. Matagal-tagal pa yon. So, but it doesn't answer my question. So
Yung tanong mo.
bakit F-16 pa rin?
Because it's,
you know, I get that it's may newer models every year, pero why wouldn't you, kung bibili ka na rin ngayon lang, right? And you're preparing for potential
That's why they were choosing
attack.
between the F-16 and the Saab Gripen of Sweden. I think also one engine natin yung Saab Gripen. Ibang dynamics pa yung one engine versus two engines. Kasi with two engines like F-18, ganun, you double the expense of maintenance. Dalawang makina mo
okay. So may cost issue
Pero
pa rin.
kahit ang iniisip lagi dyan, yung interoperability dahil alay
So that,
tayo ng US.
Yeah.
At kung sakasali magyera, ang kakampi natin yung US, kailangan yung mga ganyan natin interoperable with them and mas magaling kung sila gumawa.
Yeah. Versus, for example, getting the Saab
Madali.
Gripen from Europe, ngayon nagkakahiwalay pa yung Europe with the US.
Yeah.
So you might have problems down the road.
Kaya kahit yung mga European defense industry, nag-offer yan lagi, may technology transfer, which the US does not do. Hindi natin makuha-kuha dahil dyan sa interoperability.
It's a
Apart
complete
from mas mahal nga sila, syempre.
It's a complete framework Hindi siya pwedeng patsi-patsi. Diba? Sanay tayo. Ang ating kultura, talyer. No? Talyer cultures.
Hindi pwede kapag ganyan.
But that's a good point, no, Ami?
Ayaw mo na rin.
Interoperability.
Gamit mo ng baterya. Tulog mo.
I-jumpstart mo.
Pukpok.
Sipahin mo yung gulong. Dali.
Pag nasira, tinatadyakan yung kotse.
Yung gulong naman. Kung ano.
Kawawan mo
Dyan,
yung
Sen.
Alam niya yun.
Pagawa natin ng tornilyo. Pagawa ng tornilyo.
O kaya kahuyin mo dun sa kabilang kotse.
Ito na yung sinasabi ni Admiral Ong, piecemeal, pichi-pichi approach.
Yeah.
Ay, nako.
Minsan, sumakay ako sa OB-10 Bronco ng Air Force. Sumakay sa cockpit, take off kami. Paggalaw ko sa dashboard, nakuryente ako, may ground. Oh my God, we're going to take off with this airplane.
Meron nga tayong tatlong
Electrical.
meron nga tayong tatlong C-130. Pero usually yung dalawa sira. Isa lang ang maandang.
Wala din spare parts.
Oo. Dahil problema nga sa spare parts. No?
At least
C-130,
yung
Vietnam War pa
sinasakyan
yan.
natin nun, yung Malacanang Fresco, remember? Yung
F-27.
Fokker.
Oh, yung
At least
Fokker.
na-retire na.
Oo.
Yung tinulak namin. Tinulak namin. Hindi, totoo. May picture yun eh. Tinulak namin. Ayaw mandar. At least na-retire na yun.
Pangit pakinggan.
Kawawa naman kayo talaga. Hinaapi niyo ang mga military natin.
Hindi.
Kaya nakuha pa
Actually,
Yung nagbebenta.
when we
yung
talk
nagbebenta.
about these things, Boka, it's with the envy of getting people in government to put in more money where their mouths are.
So, kinokonsensya
Yun
natin
na nga
yung...
paano yan?
At
Congress.
mas kompletong defense system, di ba? Hindi yung
Yes.
patsi-patsi.
Eh, binawasan nga yung defense budget ngayong taon. Ano ba kayo?
Ayun na
Napunta
nga
dun sa
eh.
program appropriation.
Yun
Hindi,
na nga
magchichipin na lang ako eh.
So,
Ganun tayo.
4 billion, kasya na yun. Kasi you're trying to buy 20 F-16 fighter jets, tsaka pangalawang Typhoon missile. So,
Kalahati.
kalahati
Sagot ko na.
sa'yo. Okay.
Sagot ko na.
Okay. Pakitawag nga si Secretary
Ayan na.
Teodoro, Ami. May sagot na dito.
Put that in writing, ha? Put that in writing.
Sagot ko na.
Sabi mo na yung punchline, pwede bang
sige.
pasalood?
Okay. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. Thank you for joining
Thank God.
Storycon today. Ami, pamit to...
Dumadaos na yung usap eh. Dumadaos.
Editor-in-Chief of the Philippine Star, Ronald Llamas, President Political Pundit, and magpa-fund daw ng defense...
President Political Funder na.
Funder! That's right, hindi na pandit, funder. Join us again tomorrow 4 p.m. Storycon. I'm Regina Lay.
I'm Ed Lingao. We're One News, all sides, all the time.